Hello learners, I hope you all are doing great. Today we are going to study chapter number 21, which is preparation for the vocational role, which is of a secondary course in psychology. It is being presented by me, Sarika Singh, Senior Executive Officer at NIOS. So let's understand about the preparation of the vocational role. So in the present day world is highly competitive, and as each day passes, we witnesses new opportunities emerging in the market, and so to compare with the competition and opportunities, the need for the preparation of vocational choices as well as the vocational role is felt at an early age. It is very important to understand that not just the vocational role, but with the every subjects and the every sort of a role in today's emerging world is very important and has all the opportunities that we can gain. At the beginning of the last century, many experts were of the opinion that it is very necessary for each and every student to properly plan for a vocation. Choosing a vocation is not simply deciding what one will do. It is better to choose a vocation than merely to hunt for a job. So it's very important that we always have a backup plan in the form of a vocation. Vocational role are not the backup plans, but it's more importantly that we understood that we should always have a plan B for ourselves so that we can have a vocational career, instead of just going and hunting for a job without any plan and structured manner in our thoughts. But it's very important to have something so that we can rely on. So what is the meaning of the vocational role? The term vocation refers to the world of work and occupational opportunities. Over the decades, understanding of career choice has expanded to include the persons in research of a job, rather than the job itself. So hence the term occupational choice and vocational choice has been replaced by the career choice as of now. Most of us want to choose a vocation probably on the basis of what we hear from our parents, friends and society, and from what we read in the magazine or see in the television. On the basis of that limited understanding, we think that we know what work is and tend to understand its problems. So it's very important for us to understand that what is vocation and what is right for us to participate into that criteria. It's very important that as of now we probably have all the definitions from our parents, friends, society, teachers and nearby us, but it's very important that the way we understand our subjects and the career that we can proceed in with those subjects, it's important for us to understand the vocational subjects and the career we can have in those through the same manner that we understand our regular subjects. So what is the need for preparation for the right vocation? So if after choosing a vocation, let's take an example, that we come to realize that our ability and aptitude do not fit for the same, we will lose our money, time and so on. Hence it is very important and it is very necessary to prepare oneself and make the right choice. Choosing the appropriate stream of education is a process which needs serious thinking. It is definitely one of the most important subject. Even after class 10th, we see that many students have this dilemma that what they want to choose as the further career, the science or commerce or arts. So it is very important for us to give some time and give some serious thoughts to these particular subjects that what we want to proceed with. And similar goes for the vocation subjects also. It is very important that we make a right choice and we have the appropriate time to make that right choice. Else we will lose our money, finances and specifically the time that we are going to put in, and it will not be helpful for us in the further go. So in fact the entry into the education system itself starts with the process of choice making. So when we choose something, then we proceed with it. So when one makes the choice, it is from the journal level of education to specialized training. So there are two types of options for the students that they can proceed in the vocational. The one is the general education and the second one is the special training that they can have. So the general education is basically the education aimed at providing the students with the elementary skills in reading, writing, knowledge of physical, social, cultural, environmental values, and motivation. Generally, the qualification for the entry to occupation or for admission to higher education or various special training courses is secondary and senior secondary level only. So it's very important that we understand that the general education and our special training education more so ever requires the secondary and senior secondary level only, and it basically it has some sort of NMITs that it requires our reading skills, writing skills, knowledge of certain particular subjects like physical, social, cultural, environment, values, and motivation. So through this we can have those understanding of the vocational subjects. Now let's understand about the special training, which is of nowadays are like very much important. You must have heard about the special educators and all those things. Though the studies of special educators and other further studies comes under the main criteria subjects, but the special training that we are going to study will help you in the vocational. So currently the education in India is spreading at fast rate. The increase in the number of educated persons has already upset the employment positions in the country, and the number of failures in higher education is on the rise year after an year. Keeping this in mind, the need for the special training is felt because we still need the competent persons in every field of work. The special training required for different occupation is useful for the students who are preparing for entry in those occupations. You should also like to know the institutions required for special training. The different sort of institutions, like we all have different colleges for different subjects. Similarly, we should be aware about the different institutions which are providing you this special training. The information about some of these institutions are listed below, which we are going to discuss. So let's understand, there is this professional institutes. These institutions provide the higher education at the graduate and postgraduate level for preparing the students for specialized fields such as medical, engineering, management, information technology, and law, etc. Polytechnic, this word you must have heard before. These institutions offer courses and impart training which prepares the students as technicians and other sub-professions like junior engineer, draftmen, and other technical staff. Commercial institutions. These institutions give training in courses like typing, shorthand, bookkeeping, file management, etc. The craft training school. The demand for the craft training schools like cutting and tailoring, weaving, embroidery, handicrafts, and wood carvings has been increasing over the last few years. The special institutions. Nowadays, the younger generation is attracted towards the specialized institutes like the film and television institutions, merchant navy, institutions of hotel management, the fashion technology, etc. The correspondence institutions. Those students who do not get admissions into regular institutions due to one or the other reasons are provided educations through the distance mode. They can complete their educations while they can stay at their homes, or they can earn for their livelihood. Now let's give you some examples similar like that. For example, the Indira Gandhi National Open University, which is IGNOU, Annamalai University, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh School of Open Learning, Delhi University are such institutions which provide education through the distance mode. The material provided to you is also through the distance mode, which is being provided to you by the National Institute of Open Schooling, which is NIOS. Right now also you are studying through these kind of institutions only, which is NIOS, which is one of the best institute. If you are not being able to go to a regular school or you can't do the regular schooling, this is the best way that you can complete your education and go for the further studies to the different colleges. So through this we understood about the special training, just giving you a little brief about these things. So the first we discussed about the professional institute, which is providing you such as medical, engineering, management, information technology, etc. These professional institutes are for the higher educations. So once you are done with your graduation and or post-graduation level, then you can proceed with these professional institutes. These professional institutes require your graduation degree and post-graduation degree, and sometimes they also conduct some sort of a entrance exam, so that once you will clear that, you will be able to sit in these professional institutes. Every institute have their own different way of enrolling their students. So you will come across different sort of entrance exams or different way they are acquiring students in the form of different percentage that they have you need to fulfill. Moving on to this, which is the polytechnic, which I already have mentioned. The students have go and become technicians, and some professions like junior engineer, draftmen and other technical staff, they have different courses. Polytechnic have different courses, and through this you can acquire a particular job or a career before, and through polytechnic also, because from the starting onwards there are different internships, and different companies also hire students from polytechnics, and through these internships and through these particular companies you can get into the particular career, and after that with the higher studies you can go on further requirements. Commercial institutes, which I have already told you, for example typing, shorthand, bookkeeping, file management, these are the different vocational subjects that you can start learning about, so that you can always have this plan B for yourself. If not your plan A of the proper studies of regular colleges and big institution doesn't work, you can always get these small things by yourself, like typing, shorthand, bookkeeping, file management. These commercial institutes provide these kind of trainings. And craft training schools are also there. The demand from the craft training schooling like cutting and tailoring, weaving, embroidery, handicrafts and wood carving has been increasing over the last few years. It's been going on, and the people nowadays from every different area, even the people who are studying at NIFT and big institutions of crafts, are also taking these kind of vocational training, so that they can have more understanding at the basic levels. So you can always do these craft training, get admitted yourself in these craft training institutes and schooling, so that you can learn and have this particular area where you can work. Special institutions, which we have already discussed, provide you the skills like you can get into merchant navy, you can get into film and television institutes, you can get into hotel management, fashion technology. Nowadays, as the generation is getting too much into these things, people wants to get into different career. They don't want to stick into a regular career of becoming an engineer or a doctor. Every student have their own creativity skills and wants to explore more and get into one. Nowadays we can also see students and different age group people are getting into this social media. They are doing their own YouTube channels. They are earning through this. So you can also learn more about all those things through these special trainings, which are being provided to you by the special institutions. And from there you can learn about film and television, you can learn about social media skills, you can get into merchant navy. There are so many students who have this courtesy of going into this army, navy, air force, but because of certain reasons they are not being able to fulfill those things. But there is an option to get into merchant navy also. So through this special institutions you can learn about it more. There are the institutions of hotel management and fashion technology also that can give you a higher knowledge about these things. And the correspondent institutions, which I have already mentioned, similar, the particular lesson which you are studying right now is through the NIOS, and there are IGNOU, there are Annamalal universities, Aligarh Muslim universities, and different universities which are providing you a good source of education through the distance mode, by which you can complete your studies even through, like for example, you can complete your 11th, 10th and 12th through NIOS, and then you can complete your graduation and post-graduation through IGNOU. So through this you can complete your higher education and you can get into different job opportunities which is being provided to you by the government. Okay, so moving on to the concepts of career and vocation. Throughout the history, career has been known by a number of different names, and such as vocation and occupation, but the word career is more modern and inclusive than the term vocation. The career is also a broader than occupation. The career refers to the courses of events that constitute a life. So the career has different meanings. The vocation have different meaning and the occupation have different meaning. It is more than vocation, definitely, and it is more than occupation also. The career is something which we build by ourselves, and the career can come out of anything. The career can come out of a regular education, regular institutions, it come out of your vocation and different short-term courses which you have done, or the career is something which can also come out from your own perspectives of business and thoughts that you have through the entrepreneurship that you have built. Now, it involves the sequences of occupation and other life roles which combine to express the one's commitment to work in his or her total pattern of self-development. The occupation is a group of similar jobs in several establishments. So, it depends on you how you want to proceed with your occupation, career, but it's definitely the sequence of the occupation and other life roles which are combined and expresses the commitment to how you want to work and how you want to do your self-development. Now, an occupation refers to a group of similar jobs in several establishments. It differs from the job which stands of a group of similar position in one plant, business, institutions or other work or place. So we understood about the concepts of career, vocation and occupation. It's important that we understand what sort of career we want to proceed with and how we want to take our career, in which direction, and how we want to do our self-development. Further, we are going to study about the concepts of career, more about the vocation. So we will learn about it after this small break. Thank you.
करने राहों को आलोकित करने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो, मित्रों हम उठे और जागे, मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत कोई मन चाहा चुने हम अपना जीवन स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने कोई मन चाहा चुने
Hello learners, welcome back after this break. So we were discussing about concepts of career, vocation and occupation. A vocation is basically an occupation, either professional or voluntary, that is carried out more for its altruistic benefit than for income, which might be regarded as a secondary aspect of the vocation, however beneficial. Now the vocation can be seen as fulfilling a psychological need of a worker, and the term is also used to describe any occupation for which a person is specifically gifted and usually implies that the worker has a calling for it. Now it is very necessary to understand the world of work. The world of work comprises unlimited number of occupations. For example, if you want to be a teacher, then you should be clear that teaching profession in itself comprises of so many types, having different qualifications for different levels. For example, if you want to become a teacher, then you have to have this B.Ed degree for yourself, which you will get after completing your graduation. To complete your B.Ed and then M.Ed, you have to give different entrance exam of different institutions. And then after completing your B.Ed, then you have to apply for different schools, which then as per your degrees and as per your educational qualification will hire you. Now, each job has some requirements. These include the age requirement, gender requirement, citizenship requirement, physical, especially for armed forces requirement. Now, there are other requirements also. For example, the personality requirement, educational and training requirements, experience requirements, legal requirements and licensing requirement. The above requirements cannot be same for all the jobs, definitely not, which we have mentioned. For example, the physical requirement for the armed forces will be strictly followed by, but for a sales worker it is almost of no importance. Even the physical requirements differ across different states of our country. To fulfill the motives of choosing a vocation is dependent on educational and vocational planning. The importance of planning cannot be overlooked. It is very necessary for each and every person to plan his or her education beforehand. We know that the goal of general education is to develop the positive attitude and respect for all the types of people and all the types of work to be carried out for the proper functioning of the society. Now, after educational and vocational planning, one should go for the vocational choices. In the above sections, you would have realized the importance of planning necessary for your choice. You should also know the importance of your aptitude, the inborn abilities that you are born with, the interest and personality characteristics in choosing your vocation. Interest refers to liking and disliking about an object, institutions, job, etc. For choosing a vocation, it is very necessary to know the one's interest. It is also essential to know the aptitude and personality. Before making vocational choices, one should know the correlation between the ability and the interest, along with the personality characteristics. Many measures have been developed by psychologists which help in identifying the one's own interest. Now, the emerging perspectives on the vocational choices. The counselor can be helpful in providing a clear picture of your interest. He will be able to tell about your aptitude and personality characteristics, and you should also know the minimum educational qualification required for the job. After you know of your interest area, your aptitude and your personality characteristics, you will be in a position to make a wise vocational choice for yourself. So one must also remember that interest changes with time, and abilities as well as personality characteristics are not entirely fixed. So one can also make an alternative choice, because if he or she is not able to achieve the first, one must try to achieve the other alternatives. Now, career choices, its problems and prospects. Now we will examine the issue of career choice, which is a crucial task in one's life. We have already discussed the importance of planning in the last section. There are hundreds of careers options available. How do you make a career choice when you don't know what you want to do? Does it seem like an insurmountable task? The answer is yes. You need to put some time and energy in making your decisions. To make a good career choice, one must understand the following steps. Assess yourself. Now, before you can make a career choice, you have to learn about yourself, your values, interests, skills, along with the certain personality characteristics. There may be some careers specially suitable for you. For this, you need to have a self-assessment tools called career test, which can only be used optimally with the help of a career counselor. So it is very important for you to assess yourself. Even there are certain aptitude tests and career tests that you can do even before when you are in the school age or college age, so that you can also have an understanding what subject you want to proceed with, so that you can have a great career as per your skills and abilities. So it's very highly important that you assess yourself. If you are not able to make those choices individually by yourself, take the help of the people around you, so that you can have the understanding that what are the skills and aptitude they see in you, and what are the best qualities that you can have, and you carry yourself with what, so that you can fulfill the requirements of those particular jobs that you are applying. The next is make the list of the different occupations. So it is very important to understand that there are thousands of occupations, but only few can suit you. Make a short list consisting of 5 to 10, you can say, in which you are more interested. Circle it, think over it, and write these occupations on a separate page. You can give the heading like occupations to explore. So what you can do is take a white paper for you, and just over there write the heading occupations to explore. I would suggest you that you do it in your school and career time, in your college time only. After that also you can do, but it's a highly chances that once you will do it in your school and career college area only, it would be the best time for you to explore as much as you can. So once you are done with those white page and a heading which is consists of an occupations to explore, you can just write down all the list, you make all the list, and after that you can just go through one by one, read all the career which you have mentioned, all the occupations which you have mentioned, read about it and learn more about it through the internet or through your teachers, and you can ask someone around you, someone, your siblings, or someone in your home to tell you more about that occupation. And what's the best thing you can do is, in your after your school ends, even the schools also are allowing nowadays to do the internships. So in your schools and college time, you can do is the career that you want to explore and pick 1 to top 3 or top 4 career of your choices and do internships under those people. Once you will do the internship, then you can have a better reality and better understanding about those occupation and career, and then you can make the better understanding that you want to explore and get into that career or not. Okay, narrow down your occupation list. So it is very important that out of the various occupations, sort it out and limit it to 2 or 3. Now you must identify the different aspects of the job description, educational qualifications requirement, inquire about the other requirements, the promotional opportunities and the earnings, geographical locations, job hazards, etc. Now, this is one of the topic that many of the students don't discuss it before, and after that they get this thing that okay, this is something which I don't want to do. This is the reason why they fail in their career, and after that why they are not able to proceed in their career, because they don't get into the complete description of their career. What they just going to read is the salary, the amount of earnings that they are going to get, the finances basically, and also they are just going to learn about the interest. So if there is something that they just are liking, or they are just thinking that oh, this is something which I can do, on that basis they make their career choice. But it is very important that you understand the whole description, the job description, that what are the different areas that you must have to go in, what are the things that you are need to proceed with, the educational qualification requirement, the one with if you don't have the science subject in your 11th and 12th, there are so many career where you are not supposed to get in, even if you are liking that. For example, recently I came across a student who wants to get into this Air Force, but he was not aware about this, that to get into this Air Force you need to have science as the basic education in your 11th and 12th. So the student actually picked up the commerce, so he doesn't have that idea. So it is very important that's why I told you that it is very important that you make the list in your school and college days only, so that you can fulfill the basic education qualification at least. You would not be in the state that okay, I wanted to get into this but my education qualification is not matching. Then after that, inquire about other requirements, that is promotional opportunities. So there are certain careers where promotional opportunities could be very fast and could be very time taking also. So it is very important that before you get into those, you understand about the promotional opportunities also, that if there is any opportunity that would be provided to you, what are the basic years that you need to fulfill to get the promotions, and the earnings, the geographical location, the most important thing that a student should, or the person should always inquire about. So let's take an example that someone who is from the native place, his native place is Delhi. So now he wants to get the job in the Delhi only. But while applying for that particular job, or while giving the interview for that particular job, he forgets to inquire if it's required him to get into other locations also. So once he get the opportunity and will be asked to relocate somewhere else, he will think that okay, this is something which I don't want to do. So it is very important to understand the geographical locations that would be requiring you to relocate to different locations. Is it there in the job or not? And if it is, then what are the locations that they can relocate to? So this is very important that you inquire about this before. And job hazards also, like for example, if there is anything that he should be aware of, and any sort of hazards that he can have, physical or mental. Mental hazards are definitely not something that people are going to tell you, but at least you can get an idea after getting into internships, while you are doing your internship, that how much mental pressure this particular job can give you. So these are the narrow down occupational list for you. Then after that we have the other career choices, different perspectives out of it, which we will discuss after this small break. Thank you.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का पैगाम खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने।
Hello learners, welcome back after this small break. So we were discussing about the career choices, its problems and prospects. So we discussed about the 2 points, which is making the list of the different occupations which I have already mentioned that you should do, and also the narrow down your occupational list with all the requirements, and the requirements were job description, the educational qualification requirement, the promotional opportunities, the earnings, geographical locations, and also the job hazards. Now the third point is setting your goals. Now it is expected that you have decided to go for a particular occupation. Now is the time to put a plan in place which requires some goal setting. So it is very important that you set a proper goal for yourself, that how much time you need to fulfill the requirements of this particular job, and what you are planning, how you are going to plan your whole particular area where you want to get into this job, and how you want to proceed, and how much time you are required to fulfill the requirements, and also how much time you require to proceed with your work. So it is very important that you set your own goals for yourself. Prepare an action plan. Now after setting the goal, you will be needed to decide how to reach them. For this, a career action plan will guide you as you pursue your long and short term goals. Work hard to achieve your goal and be focused on it. So it is very important that you prepare your own action plan for yourself so that you can have an understanding about it. Now, there are certain myths also. For example, there are certain myths about the career choices which you should always avoid while making a career choice. Let's understand those myths. The first one is choosing a career is a simple task. Definitely not. There are different students and different people who are definitely struggling for understanding and choosing a career. Even I have seen like people after in their late 20s also are still confused at what career they want to proceed with, and even if they are doing something in their career, they just are not happy and want to change it. So it is not that simple task. For some people it might be because of certain guidance and that they have been being provided with the opportunities. For some people it might be an easy task, but definitely not for the other people that are in the field of this career choosing. Career choosing is not that simple task. It's a time taking process, it's an understanding process, and it's very important that we get the help, we get the understanding from the people, and we give ourselves a good amount of time to understand that what career choice we want to have or not. And also with this note, it's very important for a student and for people to understand what they really don't want to do in their career. So I have heard people telling that I want to do this and I want to do that, but I have very few people have told me that this is something which is I clearly don't want to do. So it is very important that in the white paper that we were mentioning, that just make a career explore list for yourself. Also make a list for yourself where you can have an understanding of what are the things, what are the skills and what are the career that you really don't want to pursue and don't want to get in. Like if there is some sort of an idea that have been provided to you by your relatives, so just write it down and then understand that do you really think that you want to get into that, and do you see yourself working in that career for like coming 4-5 years. So that will also provide you a good sort of an understanding that what are the skills that you really should have, because these are the skills that you don't want to have into the career. So this will give you an understanding also that where you need to proceed. A career counselor can tell what occupation to pick. Definitely not. This is a big myth. A career counselor or any sort of a counselor or a psychologist can give you just an understanding and direction about you, only you. So it will be an aptitude test or a career test which a career counselor or a career guidance can provide you, but it cannot pick any sort of an occupation for you. That is something which is your task and you have to do that. How you are going to do is you can ask the career counselor to provide you with the basic opportunities and the basic test that you can just pick for yourself. There are career tests and the aptitude test that you need to pick, and after that, once you are done with those things, the results can give you some sort of a direction and understanding that what are the aptitude, skills, understanding and the legacy you have, that you can proceed with the different careers which they will also help you and provide you the list, and then after that you need to pick for yourself. But a career counselor can definitely not pick any sort of a career. Apart from career counselor, anybody should not pick any career for you. This is your task and it has to be done by you only. The third myth is I cannot make a living from my hobby. Definitely not. And specifically in today's generation, every people who are fond of their hobby and are following it are making money out of it. I have so many names in my head right now, but giving you the few, there are so many Instagram people right now who are actually making videos and earning so many finances from that. There are travel vloggers also. In the past, it was like something which was not being too much of to exaggerate about, but right now there are so many names who are just traveling and showing you in the form of videos and uploading it in the social media. Has become a hobby for them, but from that they are actually learning. There are so many musicians, there are so many dancers, there are so many people who are actually cooking their own kitchens and making making living from that. So in today's scenarios and today's generation, there is nothing like you cannot make money or finances from your hobby. You can definitely do that, but the most important thing is that to get an understanding that how we should and what's the basic enmities that I should have to proceed with those hobbies. Making a lot of money will make me happy. No, there are so many people who have got a particular job or a particular organization that they wanted to get in before, because they were just thinking about the finances, which I have already discussed with you, that many people don't see lot of criterias while hiring, while getting into a job. So they don't see the particular list that has to be taken care of. They only see the finances, and moreover they will be attracted because of the organization name. So it is very important that we understand all the requirements and if we are being able to fulfill those requirements or not. So just having a lot of money or finances in any job will not make you happy until unless this is something which is the only requirement you have, that the only requirement I have is I want to earn. So then that might be a different case, but definitely there are other requirements also, that how you want to, how much time and hour you want to give it to that particular career. So see all the factors before you make your any career choice. The next myth is, once I choose a career, I will be stuck in it forever. No, not at all. If you want to, so switching career is definitely is not that advisable, because you should at least stick with something for at least 2-3 years, because this is the amount of time is required so that you can get into a high position or somewhere in the middle, so that you can have some sort of a social networking, so that it could be helpful for you to proceed. But switching career is definitely something which is in your hand. If you feel that you can do best in that particular career, or if you have an understanding, or it is something that you really want to do, so switching career is nowadays is not a big deal. But yes, switching career in very frequently level, and you don't have an understanding that why you are doing it, you are just seeing someone pursuing, so you just jump into that. So that is something which I would say just stay away from that. Switching career is not something which is a big deal, and you will never be stuck into one thing. It is up to you that how you want to do. There are so many people who are doing lots of jobs together. Lots of jobs, I mean that they are pursuing different skills for them. So for example, there is a person who is in the government organization only, but his videos are getting viral because whenever he gets time, he plays guitar and sing. So the people who are actually pursuing different of their hobbies one by one together maybe, so it's not something that you will stuck into one career. You can pursue as much as you want. If I change my career, my skill will go waste. No, your skill is definitely going to be used in every career what you are pursuing, and this is not something that you need to be tense about. If my best friends or relatives are happy, I will be too. The biggest myth that you can make for yourself. If your best friend and relatives are happy with your career or any of your life choices, and if you are not, then you are going to make a very big mistake for yourself. It is very important that you understand that what is best for you and for your instances, instead of thinking about your friends and relatives, because it is for a very short period of time, but the choices which you are going to make, it will be a longer period of time. So not just in your career, in every personal choices that you have to make, instead of focusing on your friends and relatives and how they are going to react, feel free to understand your emotion and give importance to yourself. The next myth is, all I have to do is to pick an occupation. No. Picking an occupation is not something picking a chocolate. You should always have an understanding that what you want to do, because it's a long-term thing. For some people, it might be short, but even the shortest time period that you need to do is has to be mentally fit for you. So it is very important that you understand the occupation that you are picking is fulfilling for you. The last thing is that there is very little I can do to learn about an occupation without actually working on it. No, you can learn about occupation as much as you can, and you can actually pick your occupation in a very early age of your life, even in your 10th and 11th grade only, and then you can pursue, learn more about it, do internships, meet with the people, make your social networking, and it could actually work for you, and you can go to the high positions which you are seeing right now. The people you can actually take the positions of those people you are attracted to. So yeah, these were the myths about the career. Now let's understand what you have learned through this particular chapter today. Choosing the appropriate education for a career is definitely a process. The special training which is required in an occupation is useful for the students and who are preparing to enter into these occupations. It is very important that we understand the whole scenario before we get in. Planning is very important at every step in life, and vocational planning should be done very carefully. Keeping all the things in mind, your abilities and your personality characteristics will be choosing a career. The career building is definitely a very crucial task in one's life, and the counselors and psychologists and career counselors can definitely assist you for making a wise career choice with the help of guidance and psychological testing. So that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this particular chapter. Once you will read it by yourself, you will get the better understanding, and through this you can have you can make a best career choice for yourself. Thank you.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने,
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने।